So I wonder how many characters we're going to see overall in this show. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to City, the animation, episode 4. And last time we got introduced to Wako's sister and had a bunch of more crazy zany adventures as always. Um, as I've said before, it's hard to kind of like, because of the episodic segmented nature of this show, it's hard to remember every little thing that happened, and it's hard to like find something to exactly talk about. There is a level of continuity, um, but it is still more episodic and segmented than a lot of shows out there. So, excuse me. I'll try my best. But this is just one of those shows, anyways, that's just kind of good vibes. It's one of those shows that you just kind of sit back and relax to. You don't have to worry too much about in terms of plot. And so, I'm having fun with it as it is. Now, as we get into this, I'm I'm very much wondering, like, how many characters, like I said in the cold open, are we going to like feature? Obviously, there's the characters we see in the opening. Obviously, there's characters who we've already met who aren't in the opening. And there's a lot of potential and possibility. I mean, the series is basically about this city. It's about this entire like location and all the people within it. And of course, we have our main characters. We have our main trio, but we're going to have all these other characters kind of coming in and out. And I wonder just how many. Um, they could go really ham on it and just throw constantly new characters every time at us. Or they could just have like a set number and just go with those and just kind of like switch on and off between which ones are focused on at a time. And I don't know how long the manga is exactly, but this anime adaptation is set, at least for now, for 13 episodes. I don't know if there's going to be a season 2 or not, but yeah. And with this kind of being like, being this very slice of life, um, excuse me, comedy anime, it's one of those that I don't think is going to necessarily require more seasons. It's one of those shows that it's like, if you ended it here, it probably would work fine because it's not relying on an ongoing narrative. You're not going to be missing too much of anything. I would like to see it get more seasons, but it won't be like the end of the world if it doesn't. And so it's at this point we just got to kind of take it as it goes. And like I said, this is kind of a very vibey show in the first place, so I think that's just the right way to handle this. Um, but I'm interested to see like what kind of shenanigans we get up to, because so far this series has kept things a little more grounded than Nichijou. Nichijou gets pretty wild and out there with some of its gags. It plays it really over the top. And so far, this series has not gone too over the top. There's obviously a lot of silliness and whatnot, but it's mostly grounded in like a lot more realism. And I think I mentioned before that this series kind of seems like it was almost made for those who like grew up with Nichijou. it's touched on like more mature topics, and it follows a more adult cast for the most part. So it just seems like maybe it. Excuse me. Sorry. I'm up earlier than I normally would be. But yeah, it follows a more adult cast and it's more grounded in its comedy. Um, and I'm thinking it might just be because of that. But it doesn't feel like they're putting in as much effort to be as over the top and zany. And I'm fine with that. Because the humor is still pretty much the same kind of humor. But it's like it's centered around like more real world problems and different things like that than the craziness that Nichijou could have. Like, for example, I couldn't see someone in this series suplexing a deer. I just I just feel like that would be a little too much for this series so far with what it's given me. I couldn't see a character getting bitten by a dog and then shooting a laser from their mouth into space as a response. It seems a little too silly, right? Little too silly of a reaction. That's what I'm kind of getting at here. You have stuff like that in Nichijou that works for the tone of Nichijou. But this has a slightly different tone. And it's trying to be a little more mature. And so, you'll still have some silliness, you'll still have some craziness, but it's going to be more grounded. And it's going to be like, you're going to see like silly faces or people like getting into shenanigans in everyday life with, in regards to like a landlord or their job or something like that. And so, at this point, I guess we just got to see what's going to happen and what other kind of crazy stuff's going to go down. I think the only time I could see this series getting more crazy and zany is if they did do kind of like a crossover Nichijou episode and like had the cast from Nichijou come in and did and do like a little special thing where things get like, you know, more in terms of that tone. And I think that could work absolutely. It's just I don't know if they're going to do that. I think it would be cool, it'd be fun, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to. So we're gonna just see how this goes and hope for the best. So let's get into this. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, we had technically a couple new characters, if you want to count that one pop-up restaurant owner, but the only ones to note here are Miss Tanabe and Hotaka. Miss Tanabe is in the opening. I don't remember if Hotaka is, but we had seen her, and apparently she's this wealthy girl who I guess broke her leg, and she's also very bored, I guess is a way to put it, to the point where she just wants to give awards to everybody for just the most random things. And Hotaka is like, you know, super supportive of her, super caring of her, Also, he has a Mortal Kombat Scorpion chain grab move, and like has by the end of this episode kidnapped Nagumo just to give her an award, which is like, okay. And apparently another um, intended recipient of an award from her is this old guy. I can't remember his name, but we saw him before at the restaurant. He's a nice guy. He's super friendly. Um, and he's, kind of a jokester, kind of a goofball. But yeah, he's he's also intended to be given a reward because of how nice he is. We see a little bit of Tatewaku trying to, get with Izumi and then having a conversation with his father through the door, like being gaslit into thinking it's his future self. Because what the hell? Um, yeah, it was interesting. But we had kind of a recurring thing in this, and that's going to continue probably in the next episode. So we have Nikra and Nagumo hanging out, and apparently while Nagumo was doing the wash, the clothes shrunk, but it's found out to just be a prank from Wako, and the clothes didn't shrink. It was just a fake smaller one made. But while all this is going on, and a pendant falls out of um, Nikura's pants, and she accidentally kicks it away to where this cat rabbit gets it and ends up running away with it. So there's this entire big chase sequence trying to get it back. Etchan and her girlfriend end up trying to join the chase, skipping school to do so, just because they find it fun. And it's like, it leads into this entire thing, and again, it kind of ends with Nagumo getting kidnapped, so. Yeah, that's fun. We don't actually have any resolution to it this episode, which is interesting because this is the first time we're getting a segment that's actually like going between multiple episodes. Um, that's fascinating to me. I'm very curious to see how it continues. Then it's not quite the same as like an ongoing narrative in a series, like when you have like a serialized show, but it does make it more interesting for such a segmented series such as this. And I'm just curious to see what's going to happen. We had a couple little surprise cameos from a couple characters we've seen already, like the landlady. The soccer team was shown at one point. We even had the mangaka and Todoroki were there. I remember Todoroki's name because My Hero Academia, but I can't remember the mangaka's name. But his manga showed up multiple times. Different volumes of that were shown. So we're getting to see a lot of like kind of crossover stuff. I did like when Subarashi, I think his name is, um, Tatawaku's father, when he's going to this other restaurant and he's like ordering the same thing every day, and he just wants the chance to say I'll take the regular. But on the day he's gonna say it, the restaurant ends up having closed down because he was the only customer. It's like that was funny. Also, I can actually say I have gotten to a point where I can say that. Funny enough, and not with a food order, but with a drink order. Um, I've talked about it before, but like every week, every other week or so, I go to these board game tournaments at a bar, and the 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 bar tender, I guess, knows me at this point. The one she's the manager as well, and she works, I guess, on Thursdays specifically. But she knows us so well that I can just tell her, like, we'll take our regular, and she knows exactly what that means. Because I usually go up and get the drinks for us while he's setting up the board games and stuff. This is before anyone else gets there too. So I usually just go get our drinks, and I can usually say that. Sometimes I'll switch things up and get something different, but she knows exactly what we mean by that. So that's fun. It's fun that I do get to say that myself. Um, but yeah, this was another fun episode. It's definitely switching things up by having a not only recurring segment, but a segment that actually like is going to go into another episode. And I hope that it gives us a satisfying ending. Um, I'm liking Miss Tanabe so far. She seems very kind of unique and interesting compared to some of the other characters. Um, and I want to see more from her. So, yeah, this was good. This was very enjoyable. Let me know your thoughts down below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.